So, how are you doing this morning, Millard? Thanks for joining in on time.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. It's 9 o'clock in the evening for me. So I'm a little tired. This is normally my bedtime.
Oh, you're a early sleeper, early riser as well, or just you
Yeah,
sleep earlier?
early. Yeah,
I know.
yeah, trying.
I was trying to keep a time that was going to be suitable for anybody who'd want to join. So my morning and Saturday night, I thought if people are willing, then they're willing to let go of their Saturday night as well.
Yeah, day of the week doesn't matter to me. And yeah, India and between India and the U.S. It's pretty it's hard to find overlap.
Yeah, it's usually either late in the night for us or early in the morning. So,
Yeah.
so I'll just give you a brief, talk about about myself. Actually, introduce myself to you. I have been, I was born, brought up in India. My father was in the army, so we moved around a lot. I've actually spent about 4.5 years elementary education in the US in Virginia. So came back to India, finished my education. I've always been interested in learning design, creating trainings, helping people understand things a little better. So I started out about 20 years ago with the American Express. And I already had a vision of what I wanted to do back then. That was probably when I was about in my late teens, early 20s. So I kind of booked a bunch of websites back then, and I'm working on setting them up. So it was like a 40-year plan for me, and I'm still working on that 40-year plan. Satisfaction economy is kind of came up about 4 years ago, 3 to 4 years ago in 2018. And it was more because the plan I had in place to put my trainings up, put the websites up, 40-year plan seemed to be a very long time, and the websites I was working on were also taking time. So I thought, let me push the ante a little bit, up the ante a little bit, and I wrote Satisfaction Economy because I thought that with the millennial goals not being met, and people still being very selfish in their motives, I thought there was a quicker need for remedy. So satisfaction economy is kind of a quick outpouring of what I think more people should believe in that needs to happen. It's you know do you have any questions? Have you read the book, Miller? Or you just
Yeah,
skimmed through it?
I went through it kind of quickly. I typically first pass over a book. I go through it and get the high points, get the main
Yeah, yeah,
ideas. Most of the time, if it's really interesting, I'll pour through it. Um, but I think I have a good sense of what you're talking about, and we're going the same direction.
right,
That's for sure.
right. That's good to
Um,
hear. So I hope you don't mind. This is like my first event, and I'm more than happy if you're the only one. And of course, we don't have to follow the program list if more people don't join. I'm hoping more people join, but even a conversation between you and me is, you know, brilliant. It's a start. Excuse me.
where did you put the agenda?
So, if you check the attachments, You can just check on your screen. There's if you
Attachments here.
one sec, let me just check it out. If you go to meeting details, do you see an eye icon?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So there are some attachments, three attachments. There's a program, there's the book, and there's a presentation.
Oh, yeah, I don't see anything. It says meeting details. Google Calendar attachments show up here, but there's nothing there.
So just scroll down.
Yeah, there's nothing to scroll. It
Sure.
doesn't move.
So I'll open the meeting, the event here. Just give me a sec.
Sure.
Here we go. Do you need me to increase the size?
Yeah, a little bit.
Sure. So we were just
Okay,
going to start with greetings, waiting for more people to join in, and I was going to have an opening poll, depending on how many people join. Then there's just an introduction, expectations of and the flow of the presentation. And I thought I'd talk about the book a little bit, how it came about, the book contents, and maybe read a couple of passages from there. Then a quick break, and then I'll go through the satisfaction economy presentation, and then we can have question and answers and a closing poll. This is, of course, based on if more people join. If it's just you and me, we can just have an open conversation. I had,
Sure.
yeah, I had given some instructions as well for the event. So of course, this is if more people join. It's a live event. You're the audience. Participation is sought, though, and will be encouraged as long as the program can continue and decorum is maintained. Please stay on mute. This, of course, does not apply since we're just having a discussion. Your video is, of course, optional. I would prefer it though, since we're interacting. You can pin my video if more people join so that my video stays on your screen during the program. I am recording the event, just the audio I'm recording, not the video. And of course, thanks for being here. There's a saying in India called Atiti Devo Bhava. That means our guests are like God. So thank you for being here, Millard. Yeah.
Thank you. No, that looked good. As far as I'm concerned, I'd like to hear about the book, how, you said how it came to be, and then, kind of dive into the content.
Great. So like I said, I had kind of a plan of setting up a learning system through a network of websites. I'm still working on that, but the eventual aim was as the company motto is learning is central to everything. So instead of selfish pursuit, we wanted to spread the message that learning involves not just self-learning but also teaching. So it's not just doing things for yourself, it's also includes doing things for others. That's how learning happens. And that's the message that we wanted to spread initially as well. And, hopefully, the more people who get that message, there will be an intrinsic change in how we interact with others and, of course, our environment. Currently, with the systems in place, I'm in India, it's a developing nation, so you get to see the horrors of the world more closely. Horrors exist everywhere, but there are just at different levels and, different ways, whether it's a developed country or a developing country. And the main thought that came to me is that we have had so many revolutions in the past. All these revolutions have been symptomatic. They've been to cure symptoms or effects of a system. None of the revolutions have been there to, remodel the system itself.
Right.
So, and from there, I thought, okay, what is the system that needs remodeling? So, I asked myself a simple question. I asked, my friends a simple question. What is the root of all evil in their opinion? And most people would say money is the root of all evil. So I say, okay, if the root of all evil is money, how is it the root of all evil? What is it doing to us? And how can we change that? So the strongest answer I could get or give myself was that the way the system is set up, it makes us selfish. You can only succeed if you are on the top. So everybody is looking to be a leader in a system that only allows, single leaders, one leader. So can there be a system where instead of thinking of yourself only, you also think of others? And that's what satisfaction economy is. It's not the end of the money system. It's a alternative that will coexist with it. So you would have more than one kind of economy. The same way people are suggesting a resource-based economy. So a resource-based economy would could also be one option that would open up different economies to people. The premise being that we were born unfree, we were born slaves to the system. We are called democracies, but the system is capitalistic, and we don't have the choice to live outside the system unless we excel in it first. So, if you're in a system and you have no choice to live outside it, that to me is slavery. So whether you're in a developed country or whether you're in a developing country or whether you're in a autocratic country, we're all still slaves. And if revolutions have been about ending slavery, then we've just been treating the effects. The real cause we've not, even touched upon. The real cause that we are all slaves is the system that we're living in, whether you call it the socio-economic system or the money system or, democratic capitalism. It's keeping us all slaves. So, yeah, satisfaction economy is a way, just an alternative where you change your motivation to do things. We will still have, we will still exist the same way we do. We will still excel in technology and science. We will still excel in other fields as well. But we will do it with a different motivation. And that motivation is to satisfy ourselves and other people. It's an altruistic design, so it comes from compassion. So if you are compassionate for other people, that's what should motivate you, and that's what will allow you to excel in the system. So it's still a competitive system beyond basic needs. So, as the resource based economy also says that all resources belong to everyone, so does satisfaction economy say that. But we also understand that resources have already been distributed and are already privately owned. We don't mean to change that immediately. Like I said, we don't want to destroy the existing system. We want to better it. And the way to better it is to show them an alternative that's better, you know? So that's the basic thought behind it.
Yeah, it was breaking up there. I didn't get all that. Just the last couple sentences.
Oh, I've turned my captions also on. Can you see the captions on screen?
No, no, I don't.
Okay, so there should be a CC
I turned
option.
it on. CC, yeah, turned on. Okay,
I'm so sorry. I should
go
have
ahead.
asked you. I should have asked you to turn that on earlier. I thought it was on by default.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, that helps.
Great. So I'll just give you a gist of that. We are all slaves, and we live believing we're not. We're slaves in the socioeconomic system, whether it's a developing or a developed nation. And satisfaction economy is an alternative to better our existing system through a complementary alternative.
Okay.
Great. So,
Okay.
so do you have any questions at this time, Millard? I think we can jump right to questions as well. I could talk about what our next steps I
Yeah,
envision to be. Yeah.
I do have some questions. So,
Yes.
I mean, people that are already, I don't know, use the word compassionate people, they care about other people, not just themselves.
Right.
Of course, something like this would be appealing. Um, so, do you just see this being something that that subset
Yes.
of
So I think it's something that can be learned, just like we learn. So being in the training industry, we distinguish between physical learning, emotional learning, and this is something that can be manipulated as a behavioral change through learning. But of course, behavioral change has to have self motivation. You can't convince
well, yeah,
somebody,
that's,
yes,
that's what I'm asking about. So, someone that wants to learn this would already need to have the motivation to
yes,
go to work. Yeah.
yes.
So I'm imagining, are you imagining that that's a lot of people, or a small percentage of people, or what?
So I've created different models, and I've mentioned that in the book as well. These models include, various hypothetical phases of satisfaction economy building up. So it could be people joining from different walks of life. It could be a mix of people from developed and developing countries. It could be a mix of people who are, in the higher income bracket, people who are in the lower income bracket. So there are different mixes of people who could join, and there are models based on progression, based on those different models. So even if we have a team of two people, there is a model that can be set up for us to start working on, increasing the numbers and increasing collaboration.
That's good. Kind of doesn't answer my question though, so I don't think I'm asking the question very well. I'm I'm thinking uh, I'm thinking two things.
Right.
There is a group of people that exists on the earth. I'm just kind of assuming this, right? But I'm pretty sure there's a group of people that would be interested in this. So, of course, by talking to them, explaining SE, it wouldn't be too hard for them to get them engaged, right?
I'm hoping that.
Yeah. So what I'm asking is two things. One, on how it is, just how many people do you think already have this motivation? And then for for everybody else that isn't motivated or might be motivated in the opposite direction, I mean, those people are probably not going to take any classes to learn about this, right?
Correct. So it's not about it's a experience. There won't be to start with. It's not classes. You could call it experiential learning.
Well, that's fine.
Right.
Classes in a very general way. I'm just
Yes.
talking about people being engaged
Yes.
to,
So
right?
let me
So,
try and answer
yeah,
you this time. Um,
yeah,
so there, like I said, this is a complementary alternative. So we're not trying to get rid of the existing system. So people are free to believe that they're living in a free system already. And if they don't want to change, if they don't think a change is necessary, that's absolutely fine. We're trying to reach out to the people who think that there is a change necessary, there are a lot of evils in the world, and that this is an alternative that can help address those issues.
okay.
I have been having conversations with quite a few people. Like I said, this is not too old. 2018, I published it, and I have been having conversations with a lot of people around it. The most people who agree that this is doable and should be done think that it will take two generations to come about. So I don't agree with that.
This would take generations to come about.
Yes, so
Um,
that's what people are saying. The people I have discussed this with and who agree that it should happen.
yeah, well, I'm skeptical about their opinion.
So am I. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
So,
in general, I find that there's a it's a cultural thing, but it's very widespread. So I call it a cynicism. People
correct.
have become very, very cynical, and facts just don't bear it out. It's not necessary for things to take a long, long time.
No. The
But they can take a long time if you are facing committed opposition.
and it is a very
Right?
committed opposition because
Yeah.
it's propaganda driven, and it's centuries old propaganda. So the opposition is very tough. As you can see, this has been around for 4 years. There are a lot of people who agree with it. Everybody I've spoken to agrees with it, who understands it. So there are two barriers basically. The first barrier, to me, this is a simple concept, and to people who understand it, it's a simple concept. But people who are too lost in the system find it extremely complicated. So the first barrier is to help them understand that this is simple. The second barrier is, of course, to get their cooperation as well.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you know much about the history of anarchism? Societies that have attempted to live anarchistically?
Yes. So anarchy also has a aggressive connotation to it.
Yeah,
Unfortunate.
I'm not really thinking about the theory right now. I'm just thinking about things like the Albigensians. Who else? Pretty much the actual examples of communities that tried to live in a non central power coordinated way, without a state, basically.
Right.
Uh, they get exterminated. Okay, not because they're causing any harm, but because they're setting a precedent.
I agree. And that's what happened to the peace and love movement as well of the 60s.
And the Black movement, civil rights movement.
Yes. So, which is why we need to include the judicial system and the governments through simple petition, through the UN as well, that look, we are slaves and here is the reasoning. We don't have choice. Give us choice and you give us human rights. Otherwise, it's all propaganda.
Otherwise, otherwise, it's all propaganda. Yeah, well,
Yes.
that's where I start. That's not in question for me.
Yes. So
And
it is a possibly very uphill task. And yes, extermination, though sounds hilarious, is very real. I've faced persecution constantly for a very long time, so I understand, how it feels and what the effects could be.
oh,
I of course want to keep my family safe,
that's
but the whole point is that this is not about secession or overthrowing a system or overthrowing a government or overthrowing the rich. It's coexistence with them peacefully.
okay.
So,
Okay. Um, I'm I'm really groping to find my way through all these things.
right.
Because I kind of look at it in three parts. So there's here we are, here's where we ideally want to be, and there's a transition phase,
Right. So
right?
satisfaction
So
economy is the transition phase.
that's how I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I think there are a lot of like I've been talking to there's a whole group of people that talk about natural law, and they're kind of classified as libertarians or
Yes.
something like that. But they talk a very specific talk where everything comes back to laws that they believe are indisputable, part of nature, and so I've been talking to a guy that is into that and has done some incredible work in terms of a declaration of independence for people to say, that they're emancipating themselves, liberating themselves, that kind of thing.
All right.
I see what he's doing as a transitional thing too. Um, I'm all for anybody that's doing this kind of stuff. And I want to help with it, whatever I can do. What do you call it? Because it's got all these megalomaniac connotations. It's like, but I do have a vision, right? And what I am looking at, my target, where I'm setting what I'm looking at through my telescope is way beyond anybody that I've read or talked to so far. And so I keep finding myself and talking to people kind of like struggling between wanting to recognize the work they're doing, the value of it, and I'm all for it. But at the same time, when I hear things like we're going to coexist with rich, I kind of go, but that's kind of like saying that we're going to find a way to live together with the people that are raping our children.
No,
And I'm not being metaphorical with that.
I know,
Okay, so
you're not.
so that that puts me kind of in a like, okay, I know that kind of like if you're gonna move out from hell, you're gonna have to deal with the devil a little bit to go to
Yeah.
go there,
Yeah.
and I get it, Um, so that's I guess I'm saying this because I want you to know, uh, I I'm very good at recognizing good thinking, good ideas, good work. Okay, and I want you to know that I see what you're doing. I think there's you, and there's this libertarian guy, and that I really would like to have conversations with right now.
Thank you.
I've
Thank you.
got some people that are friends, and they're very supportive of what I'm trying to do, but I can't discuss things. It just, they would like to be able to, but they're not sure what the words coming out of my mouth mean, kind of thing. And it's not because it's so, lofty or high above them or anything. It's just I've looked further than most people have
Right.
as far as what alternatives are,
Where we
and
should be
especially
headed. Yeah.
where we should be headed, right? So
Yes.
I kind of feel like if I can assist, my actual ability to assist either financially or with time is very limited, and physical strength and energy too. I'm not. I'm in good health, but I'm not. 40 anymore. um, but if I can help kind of like keep things on a track to where things truly are free, because if we were free, if the so-called working class were actually not enslaved, there would be no rich people. They would not exist.
Correct.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how much sense I'm making, but I can tell that
Complete sense. Complete sense.
I'm trusting you to interpret it properly.
So I picked up a few things that you were talking about. One
Yeah.
was what I'd expect from you if you were to participate, and that is just your time. However little it may be, it's would be amazing to have. The other thing you had mentioned was nature versus nurture, where you were talking about our intrinsic nature and how it is. So what I believe is that yes, intrinsically we have our nature is to be compassionate, is altruistic, and
Yeah.
learning is also a compassionate objective. So that's our intrinsic nature, which we have lost through nurture. And what is nurturing us is our socioeconomic systems again. So we have reached a point where very few people are actually, that movie, A Few Good Men. It's now, of course, A Few Good Persons. So
Yeah.
very few people understand a good person because they all believe they're good. When they see it in reality, they don't comprehend it. That is a theory, of course.
Well, yeah, I'm open. I'm open to all this, and when I talk to honest people, I can assume that when they say something in general like that they have some experience, some actual real world information that it applies to, right?
Uh,
So as we talk about different things like that, that'll help me, and also, uh, yeah, it'll help me.
So Millard, yeah, I've mentioned a lot of things in the book. It can get a little overwhelming because it also, for example, includes augmented reality interface.
Hmm.
So that interface is, for people who would join Satisfaction Economy, and it's an eventual necessity that I think would help us continue on our journey. So things like that, of course, this is all open to revision. It's all open to other people's ideas and influence, and that's what I'm looking for at this time.
Okay.
Uh, so, understand the plan. If you agree with it, we can discuss the next steps. Anything you don't agree with, we can then modify.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go back through the book again now, and uh, part of my problem with reading some books is there's a certain amount of familiarity I need to get with a person and their concepts and their language, and otherwise I feel like I'm just kind of reading Greek, and then my brain checks out. So there were a lot of diagrams in there and
Y-
that kind of thing.
Yeah, there are a few towards the end.
Yeah, that what I my process, I guess I'd say, is you know first exposure, get some understanding, get a feel for you, get a feel for uh, what you have in your head more, kind of like, and then the next time I go through the book, it'll make a lot more sense.
Sure. I hope it does. Another thing you were talking about was our ultimate objective, your telescopic view.
Hmm.
So, in my telescopic view, I see higher consciousness.
Hmm.
And that basically means that there are no systems that are required. And any systems that are required are only maintained for emergencies.
Hmm.
So, that's my telescopic view.
Okay. Well, what do you mean by higher consciousness? I always wonder what people have in mind when they use that term.
A healthy mix of compassion and intelligence.
Okay.
Yeah. So, of course,
So you're I can put it in words that make sense to me. See, I've got a information systems background,
right,
so I've spent a lot of time during my professional life thinking about what is information, how's it different from knowledge, etc. What's the difference between
wonderful,
data
yeah.
and information, all that kind of stuff. If I were going to put what you just said into that kind of terminology, I would say what you're talking about in terms of a higher consciousness has to do with the content of our consciousness, as opposed to, there's a lot of people out there, they kind of have this idea that, higher vibration kind of thing. They're mixing physics with uh, psychic stuff.
Yes, which
And
is
so
which is theoretical, so it's okay, but you need to look at
yeah,
the
yeah, and
yeah.
I appreciate it too, and I think about it, and I've gotten a lot out of it, but I just wasn't sure, kind of like which side of those two you go on. So it
I'm
sounds to me you're talking about the content.
yes, but I believe in both, but I'm talking about the content.
Got it, got it. And so when you say we won't need any or many systems, I'm inferring that you see the systems that we have now as basically a matter of controlling behavior and
Well,
the realm of possibility, and that the more compassionate we are, the less controls make things work right. Is that fair?
yes, yes. So the less controls we'd need as well.
Yeah. See, I tell people that I have, uh, I guess I could say abandoned, turned my back on, have no use for anymore any kind of rule-based system, laws, morality, uh, you name it. Whatever it is that can be codified and imposed on people, I will resist that being done to me or to people I care about because I don't see it's necessary. I mean, if I don't want to do what a law would tell me to do, the problem isn't that we need to figure out some way to force me to do it and mimic what I would be if I wanted to do it. The fix is to figure out why I don't want to do the right thing. There's a problem, right?
Exactly. So you have to
Fix that.
choose, you have to choose right or wrong. That's, yeah. And how do we
Well,
know
yeah,
what is right or
you've
wrong?
got to love or hate. You've got to
Yes.
love what's right and hate what's wrong.
Yes.
And when you do, when it's become something that's got a emotional base of when
So
you want it, right? You don't need to be told to do it.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that
So,
that is a very values based system. And one of the
well,
most,
yeah, it kind of what it does is it disintegrates any system because systems are
no, this is an
put in place to control.
this is an internal system. This is our hearts and minds that imbibe values that are
Oh,
common.
okay, yeah, it was emotional.
Yeah. These values need to be common amongst all of us.
Yeah,
So, which is why one of the pillars of satisfaction is a values-based system. And I've already actually started writing a series for values education. The first book is already complete. It's called Earth Spark, and the first book is for children, young children, and the series will go on to include older kids as well. And it's basically for the K-12 or K-8 realm, K to 8 realm. Okay.
um, I've got uh, I've got a 3-year-old granddaughter, a 6-year-old grandson, and a 12-year-old granddaughter,
So the
and they're being homeschooled. So,
I will share the
uh,
book with you.
huh?
I will share the
Oh,
book with you. Yeah.
sweet, sweet. They let my 6-year-old is reading at like second or third grade
Wonderful,
level.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they love.
I'll make a point. I'll share it with you right after this. I have your email. I have your phone number as well.
I think you should. Yeah,
It's
you
on
can
your
put them
form.
in
It's
here.
on your form. Yes. So is that a WhatsApp number?
The note that let me put it in here. It's both. It's it's I use it for WhatsApp. I use it for Signal,
Okay.
and it's my regular mobile phone.
Perfect. So I will send you the link. It's a free book as well, just like Satisfaction Economy. Great. I will add you to
There's
WhatsApp and send you the book.
cool.
Spark. So yeah, coming back to that. So if you've seen Satisfaction Economy, there are four pillars. A values-based system is the most important, and of course, our objective is not just to create an alternative system. Our objective is to address pertinent issues, whether they are, for yourself or for your community or for all of Earth. So that's our objective, and that's the reason why I think we need to set this up. We have other organizations that have been doing it, but they have been too far embedded into the system to think outside of it. Great. Millard, thank you so much for joining. I know the program is supposed to be much longer, but that was given that we have more people joining in. If you want to take a break for 5 minutes, if you have more questions, or if you'd like to talk further, I'm here. Uh, but I think you've got a lot of information, a lot of thoughts going on in your head, and if you want to take a break, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I'd like to do is talk, once a week or something with you. I don't know, something regular,
Yeah, we can
once or
set that
twice a
up.
week.
We can set that up.
This, this is my life right now. This is my life for the foreseeable future. If the world was the kind of place I felt good about my grandchildren growing up in, it would be different, but
Yes.
it's not. So,
I know. One of the main things that motivated me to hurry up my plan through satisfaction economy was my kids. I said, you know, that's reason enough to try and leave the world a better place.
yep.
So
Okay.
I will message you on WhatsApp, Millard. I'm online only. I'll see if anybody else joins. Uh,
Okay.
thanks again so much for joining, Millard. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, man. Really nice to talk, get to know you a little bit. Yeah. So we need to talk more for sure.
We will,
Okay.
we will. I will be setting up future events now, and I'll try and market it a little more so that we can get some more attention. I've been a little slow on the marketing, so I will up the ante.
Um, yeah, I'm sure things are going to come to me. I've got your email too, don't I?
Yes,
Now, is Singh a common Indian name or is it I'm going to blank. Is it a Sikh name?
yes,
For some reason,
it's a Sikh name. Yes.
that's what I thought. Okay.
So we drop our surnames and we use a common surname so that we don't distinguish between classes. Otherwise, surnames in India represent what class you're from. So by removing our surnames, we consider everybody equal. But
Okay. So no.
I'm not very religious. But yes, I do believe in a few of the teachings from a few religions.
So there's no class system in Sikhism.
No,
Okay.
we're all one surname, Singh. And
Oh! Now I get you. No, I didn't get that. Everybody is Singh.
yes, it,
Ah.
and all the women are Kaur.
Four.
Yeah.
Singing. Okay.
So
Okay.
Singh means lion, and Kaur means princess.
Oh,
But
nice.
again, that's kind of gender unneutral. So my daughters are also Singh.
Okay.
Just sending you my number. Just give me a sec. There you go. Got him?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, great.
Cool. Yeah, I was just gonna put them in here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I was just thinking that I go to bed thinking about this stuff. I wake up in the morning thinking about this stuff. So I'm sure to have questions for you and stuff like that. But a lot of times it's more time efficient to just put them in an email and fire them off if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
and what would work better is WhatsApp. On my phone, I can answer you much quicker through WhatsApp.
Yeah,
Quick question, WhatsApp works best. If it's some thoughts you'd like to share, then of course an email is better.
yeah, that's the same for me.
Great, great. Thanks a lot, Millard. You take it
All
easy.
right,
Yeah.
say your first name for me.
Uh, Karan Beer. So I'll Karan.
Now that sounds in Norwegian. There's words that sound like that.
All right, great. So it's Karan Beer. Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Millard. Have a wonderful evening. Yeah. Sleep well.
Thanks.
Cheers.
See you.